thank you everyone for traveling to the Waterloo greater area from all over the country. This is the Norman family reunion. We are so glad that all of you could join us this afternoon and this weekend. We're going to go ahead and get started. And I don't know, is Molly in here? It's going to be a very casual afternoon. We're going to switch over to our first little game. Many of you were able to send us some baby photos. And we're just going to have a quick, fun game trying to guess who these babies are. Okay, that's our first baby. Our first babies are... That was easy. Now who's this baby? It kept going. Wait a minute, I'm going back. I tried to stop it. This one here. Who's this baby? I don't think so. Still going? I'm trying to pause it. No, this one right here. I think this is Marcia here? That is Todd. Todd, where are you? Let's go on. I think we know the next babies. That's not Dee. We're going to keep on fooling. We'll play it again. Is Marcia here? This is another one of her babies. I think this is Justin. Todd, is this Justin? All right. So we know the next babies. Okay. So we'll stop this game there. Thank you, Noah. So the first thing that we wanted to do this afternoon is just pay tribute before we eat to those of us who have gone before, and we wanted to pay tribute to those souls. And what I'm going to ask is, as I call out the names, some of you know the names of your family members, but if somebody from your family would go and grab a votive at the end of the table and put it on this circle here to my left, and I'm going to ask the Pastor Faye Scott, to join me. She's going to bless these names and these people, these loved ones, for us as we pay tribute. DJ Sweet G, may we have our music. Our first names are Tony and Margaret Petrosone. Is that the correct pronunciation? Are they here? Carl Parchment is next. Catherine Williams. Margaret Baskerville. Geneva Harper. Ben Williams Sr. Now we're at Uncle Vi and Aunt Lois, 2. We have Paul Norman, Eric Cole, David Bell, William Bill Bell, Mom, Abyssinia Kane. I don't know who wants to come up for Big Mama. Annabelle Norman Grant. And then, of course, our granddaddy, Thomas S. Norman Sr.
Out of reverence for the God we believe in, those that can't stand, will you stand with me? Because we just lit candles for gifts that God loaned us in our lives. And if you give me just a moment, 741 Cottage Street is the home address of Mother Sharon K.K. Williams. I was blessed to live at 737 Cottage Street right next door, where the house no longer stands, but the love has continued. That God would bring me back into the lives of Dana, Dion, DJ, KK, Dawn Boone. So I'm not a stranger to this family, and I'm not anyone you don't know.
Amen.
I came from the ghetto of Cottage Street to Straight Street in Jesus. our Father and our God, and the mighty, matchless, wonderful, amazing man we believe to be the Son of God. You loaned us precious gifts, whether it be mom, dad, husband, brother, son, nephew, niece. You covered our bases, Father God, and kept us covered while we celebrated our homegoing after homegoing. We're not here to be sad. We're here to say thank you for travel mercies. Thank you for health and strength. Thank you that we were able to abide together at the Hilton Garden Center in Cedar Falls, Iowa. So in the name of Jesus Christ, we will not mourn the past. We will praise you for the present. And Father, at the name of Jesus, we will feel joy. We will feel peace because we serve a God that makes no mistakes. And the same God that loaned those gifts have blessed hands to prepare food for us. So those that are hungry, we will not delay you from going in to sup over food that has been blessed in the name of Jesus Christ. We're going to leap for joy. We're going to jump and we're going to dance because God didn't promise us this hour. Because this family has had to go through cancer diagnosis. This family has had to go through lingering illnesses. This family has had to endure what a lot of humans could not handle. But because you are a support system, because you have the love of the Williams, the Bells, the Jacksons, the Normans, and everyone inclusive, in the name of Jesus Christ, love is the greatest gift. So eat, drink, and be merry because none of us are promised tomorrow. We will enjoy the pleasures of God's gifts this moment. Hands have been blessed, hearts have been praised and lifted, and bellies shall be filled. In Jesus Christ it is done. We say amen. Amen.
If I'm not mistaken, Chrissy, are we ready to eat? Oh, we have one person that we need to acknowledge. Oh my goodness. We must acknowledge Jim Jackson, my uncle, father to so many here. I apologize, because that was not an intentional oversight. But are we ready to eat, Chrissy? Okay, we're ready to eat. Okay, everybody. I hope I can get this out. Here we go. We're coming back. We hope you enjoyed your food. We're going to run through some more babies. We've done these. Justin. David, we knew. Do you need help? That's David again. And who is this baby? That's right. It's Christine. Let's go with another one, Nola. That's easy. And this is easy. Who are these kids, though?
That's me on the bottom on the left. Jackie, Debbie, and Jenny.
Jenny, do you recognize yourself? Jenny's like, okay, there we go. Next one. And who is this? Mason. That's Mason. That's all for now. Let's not run through all of them. Okay, well, we're going to keep our program going. And we're going to, you know, the strength of a family is its history. And we have a very fascinating, beautiful history that we want to share with you. If you've taken the time, we have our family tree printed and on display. Thank you to all of our children in the room who took the time to help us decorate it. But we go back, how many generations? Maybe 5 generations on Grandmommy's side and Granddaddy's side. So what we've done this afternoon with the help of Alyssa and Eric is to pull together some profiles so that you can get a little bit of the history of our family through some of the key people in our family. So we're going to start with Nellie Salter, and Maylee is going to read her profile. Maylee is Todd's daughter. She's visiting with us from Arizona. So give her a welcome.
My name is Nellie Salter. I was born in Good Hope, Mississippi in 1894. I married Broomsey when I was just 16 years old and had our oldest children, Dora, Tom, and Vi, while still living in Mississippi. Broomsey moved us to Freeport and we joined him in November of 1915. Tragedy struck our family when our boys were just 12 and 11 years old. Tom and Vi were at the Illinois Central Freight Yard selling sandwiches to help earn extra money when they saw their papa get struck by a train which amputated his legs, which caused us to lose Broomsey that day. Nevertheless, we survived and pushed through to become the strong family you see today. Now I have 6 children to care for by myself. With this settlement money we got from the railroad, I bought a big house on the east side of Freeport and opened up a little club called the Green Leaf. Some say I was just selling bootleg whiskey there, but it was mostly a place where you could buy soft drinks and dance to music on the jukebox. The Green Leaf was at the back of my house with its own entrance. Tom and Vi were my right-hand men, and if anyone got out of line, my boys knew how to handle it. I also allowed boarders to rent rooms to help keep us afloat. Many of my grandchildren here today will remember sitting on my stools where they drink soda pop and eat candy bars. I was respected for my hard work.
Thank you, Maylee. Thank you, Bishop. So that was Nellie Salter. So she was Broomsey's wife and therefore grandmother to Kendall, Marsha, and all 6 of the siblings. So who of you remember this green leaf? And do you remember the soda pops and anybody have anything to say about it?
singing the seats. But yes, they were fans. I just like singing around like 3 years old.
Right. So our family originates from the west end of Mississippi. And we will hear from Broomsey Norman next. Tremaine will read his biography. But our people coming from Mississippi, they came north to work on the railroad. And Broomsey's story is pretty interesting. And then after they got north, there was a town at the very south end of Illinois that was just on the other side of slave state. So many of our people went there first, and then they continued north. So here's Tremaine. He's going to read Broomsey Norman.
My name is Broomsey Norman, and I was born in Lawrence, Mississippi around 1881. I was a tall statured man with a well-built frame. In most matters, especially those that involved my family, I was exceptionally courageous. In the early 1900s, my wife Nellie and I had a beautiful and growing family in Lawrence, and in order to take care of them, I was forced to become a sharecropper, for which I was working for as little as $5 a year. Most of the money I earned went right back to my employer's store. In 1914, I took off running to the north to find new opportunities and to create a better life for my family. On my journey to find a new and viable way to provide for my family, I was being hotly pursued by my former employer. In order to escape them, I jumped into a boxcar attached to a train on the Illinois Central Railroad line and was locked in for 2 days. When I finally got someone to open the boxcar, I was in Centralia, Illinois, many miles from Mississippi. My first job in the north was on the railroad as a Gandy dancer. Does anyone in the crowd know what a Gandy dancer actually is?
Yeah, I'll give y'all that.
Gandy dancer.
Does anyone know? Kendall, you don't remember? Okay, a Gandy dancer is a slang term used for early railroad workers, more formally referred to as section hands. And these are the men who laid and maintained the railroad tracks in the years before the work was done by machines. So this was very hard labor.
The Illinois Central Railroad eventually offered me a job in the Freeport yard helping to maintain the trains, switching lines and providing coal for the steam engine. We were known as firemen. Life as a fireman was hard labor and quite dangerous, but I was able to provide for my family. My wife Nellie Salter, who joined me in Freeport, Illinois in 1915. By 1920, we had 5 children: Dora, Thomas, Vibert, Bertil, and Mariella.
Thank you. Thank you, Tremaine. So how many of you knew that Broomsey had to run because the people he was sharecropping for, this, I think, Kendall, you said this, or it's in the book that Sharon Kay has of the history of many families in Freeport, Illinois. He had to run. They were running after him. They didn't want him to stop sharecropping for him. And he had to hide away and found his way in that boxcar. 2 days later, he was in free country. So our next biography is of our grandfather, father, the patriarch of our family, Thomas S. Norman Sr., and that's being read by Marcus Norman.
My name is Thomas Samuel Norman Sr. I am the oldest son of Broomsey and Nellie. I grew up in Freeport, Illinois at the time when many different people were relocating there for work on the railroad. There were Germans, Italians, white and black, all with a common goal. I enjoyed school and was a good student, so I was heartbroken when I had to quit school in order to help support my family. My brother Vi and I had to help out at the Greenleaf every day. We became bouncers of sorts and maintained a safe environment for our mother. We also learned some valuable life lessons regarding excessive drinking and inappropriate behavior. As I can recall an incident when a white neighbor, a police officer, came to the Greenleaf and tried to give our mother a hard time. Regardless, Vi and I threw him out, and we never had a problem with him again. We attended St. Paul Baptist Church every week, and I managed to get in trouble with the deacons on numerous occasions for dancing. But that couldn't stop me. I love to dance, and some would say also a very good singer. I had the chance to sing with Count Basie's big band. It was the Great Depression and times were hard for many of us. I got a motorcycle and began delivering newspapers to farmers in the country. It was on one of these deliveries that I learned there was work at the John Deere factory in Waterloo, Iowa. It was also around that same time I met a pretty young lady from West Mississippi. She was renting a room at Mrs. Zeddy's house. Little did I know, she was the future mother of our 6 children and the love of my life, Grant. Annabelle Kane.
So now let's hear a little bit about Annabelle Kane Norman, our grandmother. When I was little, we called her grandmother, right? Then we moved into grand. But let's welcome Summer Brayman to read about Annabelle Norman.
My name is Annabelle Kane Norman, born in West Mississippi in 1913. I'm the middle child and the one and only girl for my parents, Abyssinia and Samuel Kane. My older brother was Sammy, named after my father. People called me sister, and my younger brother was known simply as Precious. Fun fact, we only started calling him Precious after he started school. Before that, he was affectionately known as Baby. My dad worked on the railroad, just like most of the men I knew, but he had other ambitions, cultivating a little farm which brought him great pride. My mother, Abyssinia, also worked hard to support our little family. My grandfather was a white man named Henry or Thomas Moore. He was a business owner of a mercantile store downtown in West Mississippi. Occasionally, on the weekend, Mama and I would go to his store and get some beautiful silk to make our dresses. I knew he was my mother's father, as did other people, but we never had any trouble from blacks or whites. I attended an all-black elementary school in West, but my parents sent me to Durant, Mississippi for high school. My mother wanted me to attend college, but since my brother Sammy had already moved up north to Freeport, I had other ideas in mind. I begged Mama to let me move up north too. After she finally gave in, I couldn't wait to get out of Mississippi. After arriving in Freeport, I got a room and a housekeeping job for a lady named Mrs. Zeddy and caring for her children. I didn't like it much, but I would never complain to Mama because I didn't want to go home. This is where I met Tom, who was friends with her daughter, Inez. Inez was dating my brother Sammy. They later got married and had 2 children, Maxine and Carl Kane. Tom was popular, handsome, and had the voice of an angel. I fell in love with him. I was a few years his senior, but that didn't bother him one bit. He loved me too, and we got married on July 4th, 1936. Our 81st anniversary would have been this Tuesday. Tom found work in Waterloo, Iowa at John Deere, and we were off. We stayed with Gladys Anderson on 4th Street for a while when the first of our 6 children, Gail Jean, was born on April 20th, 1937, shortly followed by Janet, Thomas Jr., Sharon, and Gerald and Valerie. On November 21st, 1967, I endured the worst day of my life when my beloved husband Tom died in a hunting accident. He was deeply loved and respected in our hometown of Waterloo, a leader in the Union, and a deacon at Antioch Church. He was devoted to and adored our family. It is with these values and love we raised our 6 children and extended family, hence bringing all of you together this weekend.
So that's a little bit of our history on our grandfather's side. So on our grandmother's side, Annabelle, we have a rich history as well. So to read that, we're going to bring up Alyssa Parchment. And I hope you do get an opportunity to come and look at the family tree, because it's very interesting and it will explain some of these connections. But have a listen to Abyssinia Kane.
Okay. My name is Abyssinia Moore Kane. When I was a little girl, people called me Pinky because my hair was a lush red. But in my later years, my family called me Big Mama. I was born on a plantation in McCool, Mississippi. My mother, Anna McKinley, and maternal grandmother, Isabella Coleman, both worked on the plantation where I was born. I am the product of an affair between my white father, Thomas Moore, and my mother, Isabella, when she was only 15 years old. As a young girl on the plantation, I played with other black children, but at dinner time, I went to the big house to enjoy big meals and not to the servants' quarters like the other children. I was raised by my father's aunt and uncle for the first 12 years of my life. My earliest memories are of beautiful dresses, my long red hair curled, and eating with my great aunt, Mama, and my Uncle Jack. Mama taught me to sew and stitch fancy embroidery, and Uncle Jack taught me to read and write. On most Sundays, we went by horse and buggy to a local Presbyterian church where we sat on the Moore family pew. Many weekends, my father, Papa, would make the 15-mile trip by horse and buggy to visit me. I am my father's oldest child. Mama died when I was just 12 years old, and my father decided to send me to Mary Holmes Seminary, a school for girls of mixed race like me in West Point, Mississippi. The year was 1904, and I was taking my first steps out of my charmed childhood into the realities of life for blacks in the Deep South. While at the Mary Holmes Seminary, I boarded with the Kane family. They farmed land and grew cotton. This is where I met my husband, Sammy Rufus Kane. I met and married my husband, Samuel Kane, and we raised our 3 children, Sammy Jr., Annabelle, and Precious in West Mississippi. I often wrote and read letters and conducted business for the less literate. I would pride myself in keeping an immaculate home, quilting, making beautiful clothes with fabrics from my father's store, with plenty of good fresh home cooking. My husband passed in 1947, and I moved up north to live with my sons in Michigan City, Indiana. I was 55 then, but I found work as a domestic. For 20 years, I only had one employer, the Mitchell family. In 1976, at age 84, I came to live with my daughter, Annabelle, who I called sister here in Waterloo. I passed away at 96 years old, the matriarch of this family, a life well lived with love and dedication to all of you.
Thank you all of you who read our history, and I hope that you enjoyed learning a little bit more. We have many pictures to the left. I hope you had an opportunity to your right to go and see our memorabilia table. But you don't know where you're going if you don't know where you've been. Amen. So now it's my pleasure to bring forward my uncle, Gerald Norman. He's going to share a few thoughts with us this evening after we've heard our history. Uncle Gerald.
Well, Sharon, I can't take too much time. I think I have a few minutes here this evening. But first, I want to give honor to God, who's the head of my life. And He's brought me a mighty long way. I know I'm just 70 years old, and you've heard a lot of history in our family, but I've come a long way.
Amen.
From where I was at 10, 15, 20 years ago. Parts of my family don't want to believe that I've come this far, but I have by faith and by the Lord Jesus Christ. So without further ado, I want to share a couple of simple things, and I'm speaking primarily to the young people in this family, because you've heard history, and one of the things that has been one of the greatest disappointments in my life, I thought by the time I would possibly even reach the age that I'm at, that we as a people would be much further than where we are. But it is because somebody has dropped the ball somewhere, so we have young men today that are wearing their pants below their waist, and we have other situations that's going on that I don't think is pleasing in the sight of God's eyes. So it's up to me. You know, there's a song that says, who is going to tell the child about Jesus? Who is going to tell the child about God? I believe it's my responsibility to tell the child about God. So tonight I just want to encourage, and I want everyone to remember 3 simple steps. Put God first in everything you do. And I do mean everything you do. And He will govern your path, and He will lead you straightway. Your steps will be ordered. You won't have to flounder and wonder in what direction you're heading. Then secondly, after God, there is nothing more important than family, which we have here this evening. And I would be remiss if I did not share and thank everyone since January, whenever this family reunion was first coming about. We had a great committee that's been working diligently, and I don't know that everyone has been able to appreciate this. We thank our host city. We thank all of the diligent, hard workers. I won't start naming names because I'm fearful that I would forget someone, and I don't want to, but we want to be thankful for everyone that participated this evening and all the hard labor that was put in before. Last but not least, I want to share with young people that whatever your passion is in life, go for it with all the gusto that you can, because you only go around once in life, and you don't want to look back over your shoulder and say, well, I could have done that. I bet I could have. No, do it.
That's right.
Simply go for it. And I was a probation officer in Kent County in Grand Rapids, Michigan for close to 20 years. And one of the questions I used to ask all of my young people that came onto my caseload was, if you could be anything you want to be in life, what would it be? What would you be willing to get up in the morning and go with passion to seek and do, even if you weren't being paid for it? So if I could challenge all of the young people in here today, if you have that kind of passion, desire, and enthusiasm for whatever career that you might seek, go for it, because you heard stories about people that did not have an opportunity to realize their dreams. My father did not have an opportunity to sing like he wanted to sing. He continued to do so, and he did an admirable job with the 6 of us. I'm the 5th of 6, and I thank God for my father, but there were times when I was a youngster that I sure didn't thank God for him. But I had the fear of God in me all the while. So I just want to say thank you for the opportunity to let me come before you humbly this evening, and we will continue with the program. Thank God.
We have to let the recent birthday celebrants come and address us this evening. Well, let's see who else we got on this thing here. We ended. Okay, who's this baby? That's Rolanda. And who are these? That's you. That's Debbie in the pink. That's Rochelle, Debbie, and David. And who's this? Yes, that's Noah. There we go. Who's this baby? That's right. Well, that brings us, oh, and that's me. I'm going to stop it. Here we go. That's me. Here we go. No, I need some help. Okay, here we go. Now that's a lot of us. Dana, Dion, Tari, Dee Dee. That's a lot of us. Right? This is a good picture for us to go ahead and transition. Let's get these young people up here. Nola, Josh, and Nolan. They're going to give us our updates, our family updates. Bring them up.
Amen. So, as you know, it's been 17 years since our last reunion. So Josh, myself, and Nola are here to give you guys a quick update on some of our family members. We're going to start with Alyssa Parchment. She is currently in the process of moving from Columbus, Georgia to South Florida, where she is starting a new role with Cobb Beverages, which is a soft drink company, as a supplier compliance analyst. So congratulations to Alyssa. On Sharon K. Williams. She is the mother of 3 sons, Ben, Dana, and Dion. She has worked with Girl Scouts and became familiar with the Native American population, a member of Ambassador for Christ, and Sharon K. also worked in schools in Waterloo, where she worked with and mentored at-risk students. And most importantly, she is a cancer survivor, so to God be the glory. And next we have Dion Williams. Like his mother, Sharon K., he enjoys working with the youth in his community. He's a proud father of 5 and a grandfather of 3, and he loves to cook on the side, so that's great.
He's the grandfather of the youngest baby.
So next we have Silas and Valerie Baskerville. They've been married for 42 years. Congratulations. They're currently living in Round Lake, Illinois. Silas is working in sales management, so if you need some kitchen cabinets, these are guys, so hit them up for sure. Valerie is also a cancer survivor, so amen to that. And she also is involved in some volunteer work where she volunteers with the National Ovarian Cancer Coalition. Next we have Thomas Bell. He recently moved back to Oakland from New York, where he is starting a new job at Square, which is a credit card processing program. So congratulations to Thomas Bell. And next we have Marcia Norman. She also volunteers for a nonprofit faith-based organization for at-risk children. She teaches Chicago stepping and line dancing and loves to dance, so when the cha-cha slide comes on later, you know what I'm saying, just look for her and she'll break it down for you. And then last but not least, we have Tom Norman, Marsha's cousin. He recently rode his motorcycle around the Great Lakes, and he also teaches Tai Chi and meditation on the side.
Hello. So for me, I have Barbara Norman. She has been spending time with her twin grandsons, Bo and Gable, and also still doing special events like her annual Christmas party. We also have Kayla, who got the honor roll, so a round of applause for that, please. She's preparing for her senior year of high school, so best of luck in the college process. We have Maylee Norman, who's going to 6th grade and plays volleyball, and she enjoys spending time with her friends and really likes math, which is really awesome. So I didn't love math, so that's really good. And then last we have Veronica, who's a junior in high school and plays the clarinet and is 16 years old. Thank you.
Hi, everybody. All right, so I got Zachary, and so I have summer updates too. So Zachary this summer is working. And he plans on maybe doing his vacation for Labor Day in California. And as we all know, Jamie's over there, so that's the new addition in their family. And we all know Kara, they got married 4 years ago. And so Rulanda and Mo, Mason, rip your parents, man. All right, so you guys know we have 4 kids from them. They've been married for 13 years now, and they live in Jacksonville, Florida. And a fun fact about Rulanda is that she likes to do her blogging during her spare time, and they do have a nonprofit for both of them. And yeah, that's okay, and Marcus is starting a new job in, let me get this right. So he's doing indirect sales with Charter Spectrum. So coming up, he's transitioning to that new job. And Taurus and Nikki, they've been married now for 4 years. For 4 years. And Taurus is a Northeast Regional Sales Director, and Nikki is a manager for a dermatology office. We can do it. Okay, and we just want to get everybody a little bit involved while we're up here. So can I have everybody that's going to like preschool or kindergarten, can you guys all stand up if you know your grade? You're not in preschool or kindergarten. You're a little older. Oh, they're gone? Who's going to elementary? Who's in elementary? You are? Stand up. Elementary's fun. All right, there's our preschool and kindergarten kids in the back. And who's been married in under 5 years, so we all know. All right, well maybe you guys are who's been married the longest? 45. More than 45 years. More than 30 years. Okay, well, thank you guys. All right. So we're almost done with our program for the evening, and everybody can grab their coffee and their dessert. But before we go, I'm going to have my mother come up. She is the matriarch of the family. Come on. Just to give us some closing remarks before we bring and celebrate our birthdays.
everybody. I'm 80 years old. I'm going to ask my baby sister Janet to come up with me and stand beside me. She'll be coming my way soon. Janet, will you come up with me, please? I just would like to say that our family and this whole gathering came about in November of last year, November of 2016, when I took a little break. I was taking like a week off from my caregiving of my late husband, Bill Bell. And as I visited with Janet and her family, I made that a point because Janet had been coming out to California to help care for me and to help me to care for Bill. So I went out and I was able to spend some time with Janet and her daughters. And in the course of our doing things together, because we've been together, if you look at that picture, you can see that we were the big sisters. And the way the family worked, the Norman family and many large families work, we all took care of, the older ones of us took care of the younger ones. So we had our babies. Janet had Sharon and I had Gerald, who was my baby. And we loved, somehow, Mom and Dad taught us to love our brothers and sisters.
Amen. Yes.
And I think love, a Christian love, is the basis for this family. So as we talked about this idea of getting together, I have to give my niece, Christine, the credit for the date. She said, we need time to get this together. I have to say that Kayla got excited about it. And the excitement just grew and grew and grew. And I know that we have been praying, Janet and I, praying that we would all come together and that we would continue to love each other the way that we were taught to love each other. I want to say a special thank you to everyone that has been at my side.
It's okay. It's okay.
Since my husband, Bill Bell, died in March, he loved our family very much.
Yes, he did.
His family, he had a very good family, but his family they weren't always able to be together. So he loved us so much, and I appreciate everything that you all did when I went through that period. If you weren't able to come, you called. You let me know that you loved me, and I appreciate it, and I will never forget it. I want to say a few words about Uncle Vi. Many of the facts that you heard about this family came from Uncle Vi. When our dad died, we were all very young, and he made a vow that he would always be with us, and I have to acknowledge that vow that he made. He kept us under his wings the best way that he could. He kept that promise. And I remember when Uncle Vi and Aunt Lois came to Waterloo, lived with Mom and Dad for a few period of time until they got their house. So our family has been together for many years, and I just want to thank all of you. I know Janet, I'm not going to let her speak, however. Because I don't want to prolong the program. But I just want to... She's up here to support support me. And when she turns 80, she can speak
I can
to
talk.
me.
I can finally talk.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
And I want to say how much I appreciate Gerald for coming because he turned 70. Sharon has already turned 70. Tom has turned 70. 75. So that we are all getting older. And we know that we won't always be here. But as long as she's behind.
She's the baby.
She's our baby. She's our baby, you know. I always told people, when I started college, Valerie was 2 years old. So that means that she remains our baby, the baby of our family. But we love her. So I want to let Janet say a few words. And I'm going to go sit down.
No,
Thank you,
you're
Janet.
not.
I'm not.
You're going to stay right here. When Gail came to see me, we were mumbling and fussing because the family hadn't come together. And as she said, the girls, my 4 little women, heard us mumbling and fussing. And when I turned 78, they said, "Here's your gift. We're going to make it happen, Mom." And they did, with the help and support of the cousins and all of you. And with that, I just say thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you to everyone. Everyone leaned in. Everyone leaned in. In-laws and outlaws. Everybody leaned in. And I could not be more grateful, just filled with thanks. Thanks to you all.
Let's acknowledge our family from Waterloo.
Yes.
Because
Waterloo.
without you, we couldn't have done it. Would you please stand up?
We thank you so much. These 2 sisters, nothing can separate. I remember when I was a child, we used to go to Connecticut and visit, or New Rochelle, wherever it was, and they would have the same clothes. Purchased right there. One on the West Coast, one on the East Coast, but the same clothes. Same color. I never knew how they didn't even plan it. That's just how close they are, but that's how close all of these siblings. You've seen pictures. This is nothing new for us. Even though we have not had an official reunion, we love to get together. We love to share time together. So we're happy again that all of you have joined us. But now we're coming to a close. But we're going to acknowledge Nia. I want you to get ready. We're going to have I want to introduce our committee to all of you, and we need to take a picture. And then we're going to celebrate our birthdays. DJ, do we have our little birthday number coming up? Yeah. Rolanda has given us a beautiful, some of you have maybe already partaken of our beautiful birthday cupcake display. So after we do our committee, then I want everybody who has had a birthday in July or June to come and join us on the dance floor, and we're going to get it started. All right, so our reunion committee was led by Christine. Thank you, Christine. Stephanie, Jackie, Steph, go on. Jackie, Rolanda, Dana. All right. And myself. I gotta get over there, hold on. All right, thank you. Now, who has birthdays? Uncle Gerald, we know you can start us off. Marsha, go on over. We got a birthday. We're gonna get the birthday song up. Dana and Dion. Jimmy. All right. If you have a birthday in June or July, here we're gonna take a picture over there. We're gonna get our birthday song up. That's right. We're gonna celebrate. Until the DJ gets the song up, let's go ahead and sing. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, everybody. Happy birthday to you. Yeah. All right, feel free to get the party started, get your dessert. It's on. Thank you so much. We love you all. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Thank you for coming and sharing the love with us. Amen. Enjoy yourself.